I feel like I either look like a really cute, sexy librarian or a 12-year-old. I fear it might be the latter. Hi guys, my name is Diana. Welcome to Myo Core, and today I'm going to be doing another video essay. If you're wondering what this is my phone that I'm using as a microphone. This is my phone case. His name is Steve. Address him accordingly. Thank you. Today I'm going to be talking about underconsumption core in the book community. People have made videos about this. I'm sure I've made videos about this in the past. I feel like I have more thoughts about this. I've been really thinking about this because underconsumption core is really popular on TikTok as a whole, like not just booktok but TikTok as a whole. And obviously booktok is a community on TikTok, and it has like steeped its way into TikTok. But this is not just a TikTok conversation or a booktok conversation. This is conversations that have been in the book community for a very long time. I remember back in like 2019, 2018, I remember I made a video about consumerism in the book community. I think I made like 2 actually. So this is not, I mean, most conversations that we have in the community are not anything new. We've been having them since the beginning of fucking time because we have the same conversations every fucking day. But I really wanted to make this video because I've been feeling really guilty about my electronics that I have. I have a Kobo and I have a Books Palma. I love how I'm feeling so guilty about these things that I spent my hard-earned money on. Look at it. But yeah, I mean, these are quite expensive, and a lot of people talk about them in the book community. Yeah, they do cost money, but I mean, they're my hard-earned money. Like, it's not like I fucking robbed a fucking bank or went bankrupt to buy them. Like, they're my own money that I spent on these things. But I've just been feeling like super guilty about it. And I remember when I was looking into them, I watched like videos about collections, and I remember coming across this one girl's video. She's actually a YouTuber. I mean, she's actually a TikToker and a booktuber that I really enjoy. Her name is Nanani, I believe. I hope I didn't butcher that, but I'm gonna leave her below. And she made a TikTok, and in the TikTok was her e-reader collection. And one of the top comments is, "Why do you have so many? Isn't the point to only have one?" And I remember thinking to myself, well, no, there is no point to e-readers. The point of e-readers is just to e-read books. Like, there is not, e-readers aren't made for one particular reason. And I just feel like people on the internet are, one, really quick to judge, and that's coming from me, a Virgo. They're really quick to judge, and I just feel like nobody really considers other factors, like in general on like social media. Like, I remember watching this video a few years ago, and it was this woman, she was cleaning her house, and she didn't show the video her sweeping. And so somebody was like, "You don't sweep your house?" Just because in the video it didn't show her sweeping. And it's like, the internet is such an interesting place because it's like, you don't know what goes on when I turn this camera on and off, but you still feel the right to like judge me and say something about it. Oh, and also, I forgot, I need to explain what underconsumption is, just in case you live under a rock and you don't know what it is. Underconsumption is the opposite of overconsumption. The opposite of me, actually. Okay? The opposite of me and everything that I stand for. Underconsumption core is like this, I mean, it's been around for a long time, but underconsumption core is something that like people brought on TikTok. And what they do is like, oh, instead of going to buy a new product, why don't you use every last bit of the old product? If you go, I'm going to, yeah, because it was always you, yeah. If it's going to lose, they won't save me. Nothing to do without my baby. Birds of a feather, we should stick together and yet listen to better. I don't know the words and the change the center and whatever is even better. And I don't know what I'm crying for. I could love you more, baby. I love you to the day that I die. To the day that I die. To the light in my eyes. To the day that I die. Which is so crazy because like, that's how my family grew up in general. Because we were poor, not because we were under consumption core. We'll be looking at my notes. I always say this in my videos, but I feel like the moment I don't say this, somebody's gonna comment, "Why are you always not looking at the screen?" Bitch, I'm reading my notes. even though I just made them 2 hours ago. Y'all gonna hate me, but I don't think that underconsumption of core really applies to the book community. I don't really think that it should apply to the book community. I don't view being a book collector the same as somebody who owns a bunch of Stanley Cups. Like, if I'm being real. Every book is different and unique and published by different companies. Even the same book. I have 3 copies of Emma by Jane Austen. There are 2 copies that I own. I don't feel like getting the 3rd one out because it's on one of my book shows and I don't feel like grabbing it. But I have 3 copies of Emma. It's my favorite Jane Austen. This Penguin English Library copy. I love this English library collection. And then I also have this Penguin Classics collection. And then the other one I have is by an artist, and I forgot what the name is, but I own it. I own like 7 copies of Peter Pan. It's one of my favorite. I have a video on my collection if you want to watch. It's one of my favorite stories from my childhood. I love Peter Pan. I still love Peter Pan to this day. I love the idea of evil Peter Pan. I do not read Peter Pan smut. That's one thing I can't get behind. I can't do it. Not even because of like the story, because it's terrible. I feel those stories are fucking terrible. But I love Peter Pan and I love any like story and rendition of it. And I own several different copies. Each copy different, each copy not the same, each copy from a different company. I mean, I do have 2 from Barnes & Noble, but like for the most part they're like Penguin, Barnes & Noble. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna show you guys. Here I have 5, and then I have 2 more. I have like a big pop-up one, and then not a pop-up, I have a big annotated one, and then I have the like, I forget what they're called, but they're like of the classes. They're kind of like pop-up books, but they're not. They're kind of like, they have stuff in them. Like, I don't know how to explain it. So this one is from Fairy Loot. This one is Children's Classics. This one, girl, I don't even know. It says an Illustrator Classic. This one from Barnes & Noble. This one also from Barnes & Noble. Like, you see how even the Barnes & Noble ones are different? But like, for the most part, that's not average. That's not something that every reader does. Honestly, not every reader has 7 different copies of Peter Pan. Not everyone does that. Some people are normal when they only have 1. But it's just like, it's not, to me, it's not the same as like having Stanley Cups, like having the same. This is not a Stanley Cup. This is my daily water bottle that I use. I refuse to buy a Stanley Cup because it's $15. It's wider. It stays cold for 24 hours. And this is only for water use. I don't see the point in having a big jug like this and putting juice or pop in it. I already have acne. I don't need more. Imagine me having this, but like 1 in pink, 1 in sparkled pink, 1 in sparkled blue, 1 in dark blue, 1 in black, 1 in fucking rainbow, like 1 in ombre. That to me doesn't make any sense. Actually, I'm just gonna take a drink of this while I have it here, actually. But obviously, but me sitting here being like, that doesn't make any sense to me also isn't fair, because I give into overconsumption in general. Look at my room. Look at my electronics. I have multiple e-readers. I have a Switch. I have a laptop. I have an iPad. You do not need a laptop and an iPad. I love a gadget. I love electronics. It's something I've always been fascinated with, even when I was a kid. But like, even when I was a kid, like growing up, like my sister, my mom got me and my sister a DS for Christmas, and then next year my mom got my sister a DSi, and then I eventually end up switching over to getting iPods, and my sister got like a DS 3D. Like, my sister, she still has all of hers actually, and she sometimes still uses them. And then when the Switch came out, I got a Switch. I gave her my old Switch and I got me a new Switch. So it's like, I don't know. I love a gadget I've been raised to. But it's like, so personally, who am I to judge the Stanley bitches? Because I don't need to have an iPad and a laptop and a Switch and 3 e-readers. Like, I don't need to. I mean, honestly, we don't need any of the things that we buy. We're being tricked into buying them, or not even yet. A lot of, being tricked into buying them, because one thing about advertisement is showing you why you need to have something, or why this thing is going to make your life easier. So we don't need any of the things that we buy, really, or especially our hobbies, but they're hobbies and they're wants. And one thing about me is, once I want something, I have to have it. It's a shame. I have heard of something called Book Dragon. I was watching this video last night. Hopefully, I don't remember who the YouTuber was, but I will link it down below. And something called book dragons, and it's basically people who hoard books. So me. But like I don't necessarily consider myself a book dragon because I get rid of books that I don't want. I unhaul books. I don't keep books. And I feel like I'm going to be talking about myself a lot, and I'm going to be using myself as a reference because I feel like I'm a good example of both sides. So if you're like, damn, this bitch is talking about herself a lot. One, I am a Leo rising, a lot of Leo placements. So that could be a reason why I talk about myself a lot. But two, also this is my channel and I can do what I want. He talks about how like a lot of people haul over like 100 books, and the average person doesn't really read that much, which I understand. I don't have any commentary on that. There was a month where I was hauling 100 books a month. Like I was buying 100 books in a month. Most of the time when people are hauling 100 books, for the most part, these are books that they accumulated over time, and they know that big numbers gets them views. So it's more so just somebody like accumulating 50 to 100 books over a course of a few months, and then they do the haul. For me, I was literally buying 100 books in a month. I read, and it was like for 3 months, but I also read 300 books a year. So for me, it doesn't matter. And I do unhaul books that I don't want. All the books that I own right now, pretty much I want or I know I'm gonna read. I have the intentions to read them at some point in the future. And also even back then, like I was just hauling a lot of books just because I have a problem with wanting things, okay? But I do understand, like that was definitely unnecessary. I didn't need to be hauling 100 books. 300 books within the span of a summer, but also that was during the pandemic, so we all were a little crazy. Like that's not something I would do now. That's not something I would do before then, okay? So if we could accept the excuse that it was during the pandemic and I was literally insane, then yeah. But I will take responsibility for my actions, okay? Even when it comes to people who collect Stanley Cups, I personally don't get it because it's the same cup literally over and over again. Like I said earlier, like it's literally the same cup but different colors, different like sparkle, shine, no shine. And it's like I feel like cups serve a purpose, but then who am I to say anything because I have a mug collection. It's not a very big mug collection. I mean, it used to be, but any mugs that I put in the kitchen are going to disappear. So I have 2 mugs that stay in my room that do not leave my room. And those are the only mugs that I have right now. I used to have like a pumpkin. I had a I had like a little Santa Claus one. I had a Jack Skellington one. I don't know where any of those are. So now I keep my mug collection in my room. So now I have 2 really big mugs that I use. But like there are also people in the makeup community who have multiple things of like foundation and multiple things of concealer or blush or whatever. And I also wear makeup, and I don't really collect makeup though. I don't see the point in collecting because makeup expires. Girl, there is some makeup that I have that I've had for a minute, and I don't mean just a year, girl. I've had for a minute that I still have not used up. So personally, I don't see a reason to having a makeup collection because that expires. But I'm not gonna yuck anyone's yum. I personally just don't get it for myself. I literally have, this is my makeup collection. Everything that's in here plus my foundation, because I don't want my foundation to spill. So I keep my foundation like under my desk. This is my collection. Everything that I own is in here. I do own 3 different concealers, but I use them all in one makeup routine. If you've seen my makeup videos, you know I use 3 different concealers. Why? Because I feel the need to. So like even then, like all of my makeup products get used, and actually anything that doesn't fit in this bag goes into a small drawer, but I don't use it. Those are just products that like I kind of go through like makeup looks. So right now I'm into like the dewy makeup look, so I don't I don't bake my face anymore. So when I do get back into that baking era, I'll just go on into my drawer and grab the like baking powder. But everything in my drawer I kind of don't really use. So this is everything. I even have like my body glitter in here. Like anything that's not in here does not get used. I even kind of was in the whole fragrant community for a little bit, like the fragrance, because I got really into like the EOS strawberry dream lotion. That's my shit, y'all. And I also love the vanilla cashmere. So I kind of got into like the body wash community, and that's also something I kind of don't understand, because even though I was like into it, and I do have like I have like some stuff back there. I have 2 body washes and 2 lotions. Like, I could not, like, I was like looking into it, and like there was stuff that I wanted to try, but one, I don't go to like the store that often, so it's not something like, if I can't smell it, there's no point in me buying it, because especially because I like to smell like gourmand, girl. So if I can't smell it, I'm not gonna buy it. But also, like, I was just like, not everyone is like that. Other people can drive and stuff like that. But it's like people will have collections and collections of body washes. And that's something I actually don't understand, because the amount of body washes that they have, you are not going to use in your lifetime. Another thing I don't understand about the body wash community, what the hell is a limited edition body wash? What do you mean? What if I really like this scent and I wanted to buy it again? Why is a body wash limited edition? I don't get that. I don't understand it. I don't know. That's just something I just wanted to throw out there, just in case somebody else wanted to explain the fucking purpose of a limited edition body wash. But like, I'm not judging anybody, because like I said, I also was in the community. I love the videos. They were so, but I would like watch and I would be like, you have a whole, but I'm sure those people know that. Like, I know, like, as someone who looks at my books, I'm like, damn, I have more books than the average person. So I know that person looks at their body washes. I remember watching a TikTok the other day from like my favorite ASMR artist, and she was like, she was changing out her shower, and she's like, don't look at my body washes, I know I have a lot. So it's like, I know that these people are aware that they have a lot. Like, I don't think that they're looking at their body wash collection that they have to put on a bookshelf and being like, this isn't really that much. Like, I know that they're aware of that. Like, it's not just something, even people who have makeup collections, like people who have like, or Stanley Cups, people who have like an excessive amount of something are very much aware. And I also think it's a little bit something more deeper than like what we probably believe, you know? Like, I think there's something probably, or I don't know, maybe it's not. Maybe you just want to have a bunch of body washes. I don't care what you do with your life. Yes, overconsumption is bad. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it isn't. I'm not going to make this video and be like, there's nothing wrong with it. That would be naive. And I have been that naive to a point, and not really understanding like the full, what's the word I'm looking for? We're just going to say scope. The full scope of like what like consumerism and capitalism does to our world and our community and life, especially with the kind of president we're about to have in office. Very much so. And I'm also not saying that I agree with overconsumption or consumerism or anything like that, but I do think that this whole like underconsumption core thing has really gotten toxic on like TikTok, and like people think that like just because they don't indulge in it, that like other people shouldn't either. Like, I've seen videos of people being like, oh, you shouldn't own this many things, or you shouldn't have that, or bringing up the topic that I have talked about earlier when that person had a bunch of e-readers. They was like, well, isn't the point of e-readers to have one? And it's like, you can't, just because you don't consume in this thing, you can't tell someone what they can and can't do. You can't tell someone, oh, well, we shouldn't indulge in consumerism, or we shouldn't indulge in overconsumption or whatever. And like, literally, it gets to the point of commenting on other people's TikTok and being like, oh, well, this isn't underconsumption. And it's like, okay, and who gives a shit? Who the fuck said I want to give into underconsumption? Sorry if it's gotten like a little dark in this video, you know, daylight savings, girl. Anyways, so I remember seeing people saying that if you have a bunch of shelves just filled with books, that like you're automatically like rich to them. Do get that books are expensive. Not everyone is able to afford a bunch of books. Like, yes, that is very much true. Or have the space to afford. Like, I had to make space. I literally had to compromise. Like, girl, do I want a full-size bed, or do I want a twin-size bed and a wall full of books? And I compromise my own comfortability every night so I could have my bookshelves. That's still a privilege. Like, not everyone can do that. Like, some people just can't do that. There are people out here who don't really want to collect books, and they don't care if you collect books or not. And they really don't say anything about it, and they just kind of like going about their business. Personally, for me, I've been collecting books since 2015. I grew up having a built-in bookshelf in my room, like my childhood bedroom that I had. Can I really call it a childhood bedroom? I was only there for a few years. Anyways, in this room that I had, and we were planning on staying there for a very long time, and I had like a built-in bookshelf, and I loved it, and my plan was to fill it up. But then we moved out, and I had like this mini bookshelf that I had. It was literally a small bookshelf that I had filled up. And so I started collecting books in 2015. And I've been collecting books ever since. Well, I've been accumulating books ever since. And even like, I didn't really like start collecting books until I got my first job in like 2019, when I was like 19. No, I got my first job like 2018. No, Yeah, 2018, because I was 18 going on 19. So I didn't really start collecting books until then. But all these books that I have been accumulating over the last 10 years. Like, this is not something that I just started doing and I just started buying a bunch of books to fill up bookshelves. No, like, this is something that I have been doing for 10 years now, and my messy ass bookshelves are something that have came over time, because even 2 years ago my bookshelves did not look like this. I just don't have enough space, to be honest. I love the way that my bookshelves look. I love the like messy look. I love the like stacks of books everywhere. Like, I love it so much. It makes me so happy. Like, just having all these books. And I've read, I have a book tracker. I read about half of my books. I own 700 books, and I've read half of that, whatever that half is. So it's not like these books are going unread, and I could read a lot more. I read about 300 books a year. I could definitely easily read all the books that I own. My problem is that whenever I'm reading a book and I see another book online that people are talking about, I have to read that. And I'm just like, I know, oh, fuck the books that I own. That's my problem, is I like shiny and new things. Honestly, I don't even buy books like I used to. Like, I used to, like I said, there was one point where I was hauling like 100 books a month for like 3 months, and then after that I kind of just slowed down, and I kind of just but yeah, I don't haul books like I used to. I don't even really do unhauls, even because I really don't feel a need to, because pretty much every book that I own I enjoy. Like, all the books that I've read and I kept are like 3.5 stars and up, like things I can see myself rereading, things that I've enjoyed. I don't keep books that like I don't. Besides, there's one book that I have that I didn't like, but it's because the copy is no longer available now. So I don't want to get rid of it because it's no longer sold in that copy. And I love the book cover, even though, and the book was like a 3-star, like I didn't hate it or anything like that, or else I would have gotten rid of it. Not everyone is privileged enough to have a book collection, and I do understand that. My point is that my book collection did not start overnight. I do see on BookTok there are people who have joined the community and 2020, and like their bookshelves are already like filled up and they already have like a bunch of books. A lot of people, I mean, I'm sure some people do get in the book community like, I need to have bookshelves, and they probably are people who can afford it. Hopefully they're not people who can't afford it, but I mean, there are some people in the community who like, they think that they need to have these things, so they go ahead and they buy it. Personally, I don't understand that. Not like, oh my gosh, I don't understand, but like, genuinely, I don't get it. But that's just because I personally have never felt pressured to give into something because I feel like I need to. Like, even though I don't, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess I kind of do get it, because like for me, vlogging, I don't vlog as much as I want to because I feel like I don't live in like a aesthetically pleasing house. And not even in the sense of like, I mean, I live in a house, like I'm grateful for that, like, yeah, but it's like, I feel like my house is like, there's 4 people that live here. Like, it's not like aesthetically pleasing. I don't show anywhere but my room. And that's just, but that doesn't stop me from vlogging. It does hinder me from doing, like, I want to do Vlogmas, but I don't do anything. And you're just going to be looking at my room every day. And that's just going to make you just as depressed as me, girl. But it's not something that like, I don't know. So I guess I kind of do get it, like feeling like you need to have, but for me, it's like, I don't have these things. So I'm not going to go out and try to like fix my kitchen up and try to buy a bunch of things for my kitchen so that it looks good just so I can vlog. So I guess, I don't know, girl. But yeah, and it's so interesting because you can always tell like who joined the book community when, just based off their bookshelves and based off the type of like what, like if you look back, like if you see a bunch of like Cassandra Clare books on somebody's shelf, they've probably been reading for a minute. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you look and you like, damn, that book, if you're looking at somebody's shelves and you're like, that book's from 2015, 2011, 2014. Like, okay, damn, bitch, you've been here for a minute. Like, some people, they do have, like, it's like, you can just tell. Okay, you can just tell. And then, I just think it's so interesting. I do notice that people on BookTok do this thing where they keep books that they have no intentions on reading. Like, for me, I have books that I have intentions on reading, but I don't see myself reading it for a minute. Like, I have Entire Storm, like, archive books, except for the newest one, because it's obviously not out yet. But I have the entire collection. And when I read the first Way of King books, I was like, damn, that book was a lot. I do want to finish this series, but that book was so a lot. I don't see myself reading the rest anytime soon. And then here I am 2 years later, here I am a year later reading the next book. And I do plan on continuing on with the series. So a lot of the books that I have, they're not books that I don't plan on reading at all. They're just books that I don't see myself reading at that point. But I've noticed people, like, I literally saw a video where somebody was like, oh, do y'all ever have books that, like, you don't want to read at all? Like, you don't have any plans to read it, but you just keep it. I think that is insane. I think that owning books that you have no intentions on reading at all, period. Like, for me, I know a lot of times I'm like, I'm not gonna read this author, and then I do read the author. I know myself, I just make those videos for fun. But like, there are literally people, like, I've seen, and they'll have, like, it'll be like a special edition, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy, you guys. Like, let's be for real. Like, but that's their money, that's their judgment. I personally would never do that. I would never do no shit like that. But that's your money, girl. Like, I can't judge you. I mean, I can, but like, I'm not gonna say it online. I'll judging you in my mind. Or like, I'll like send a video to my friend. I'm like, oh my god, girl, this is crazy. And we'll talk about it amongst each other. But I'm not going to be in your comments like, bitch, this is crazy, blah, blah, blah. You know? Also, you never know, though, where someone is getting their books from. Like, when I was hauling over 100 books, there were people who were kind of like in my business, girl. Like, they were in my bag. Like, they were trying to like get a peek inside of my bag. I remember like people were like, oh my gosh, how are you affording this many books? Like, there were people speculating that I had a credit card and I was putting myself into credit card debt. Girl, I do not have a credit card. I've never owned a credit card a day before in my life. I'm scared of credit cards. I'm scared of credit. It terrifies me because I know I have a shopping addiction and I know myself. But the crazy part is I was able to afford those books because of the job that I had. Like, with the lighting now, my glasses just don't look, I don't know what to do with myself. But even around that time when I was hauling a bunch of books, thrift a lot of my books, online thrift. I use eBay a lot. Like, a lot of my books, like my entire Stephen King collection is from eBay. Any book that is not like new, you can get for a really good price on eBay. Same thing with DVDs or pretty much anything. Like, anything you want to buy, I would suggest checking out eBay. Also, my favorite site to use is Thrift Books, and that is like when I first joined the book community. Thrift Books was actually what I bought, like when I was like first buying books. And then I also, on Amazon, they have a used book section, and a lot of the times you can get the used books Prime Day shipping as well. Like, okay, this is not working. So yeah, I thrift. I think it's weird to be all up in people's business like that anyways, so whatever. Also, when I was like doing my research on TikTok, I saw that like people feel the need to have book nooks, which I thought was so interesting because I didn't think about that. I changed my room around a lot, and actually I did have like the place where my desk is used to be like my book nook kind of, where I had like a bunch of blankets, and like I changed my room around a lot. There was one point I had like a beanbag chair over here. There was one point I had like one of those saucer chairs over here. Now I have this cute little chair that I like to lay in and read. Yeah, it's a really big chair and I can just lay down on it. I just think that I never thought about that, but like people feel the need to have book nooks, which is so interesting to me. But using the library also, like if you are somebody who feels guilty for over consuming and you want to lower it, using the library is also a pretty good thing. Like, I feel like after I was like hauling 100 books for 3 months, I definitely did start to feel guilty for how much I was buying, and so I slowed down. And honestly, ever since then, I haven't really hauled that many books. I really haul books for like my birthday and then randomly throughout the year. But like back in the day, I used to have a haul every single month. I used to be like April haul, June haul, like all of that stuff. Now I don't anymore, especially because once I quit my job that I had, I couldn't just buy, especially because I used to work at Target. So I used to just go to the Target and I would get sales, and I had like a Target discount or whatever, which wasn't that much, by the way. But yeah, so I was able to like haul books every month because I worked at Target and they had like a book section and I was always over there. But I feel like once I left, I couldn't maintain buying those books anymore. And now what I do is I get all of my books from the library. I used to have 3 to 4 library cards, but now I'm down to 2. So I have 2 library cards that I use, and I pretty much will read a book first. And also I don't use Kindle Unlimited, but there is Kindle Unlimited, and I have a Kobo in there. I do have Kobo Plus right now. I don't know how long I'm going to have it. But pretty much those 2 library cards get me so much. They get me so far. Like, obviously, I'm still able to obtain reading 30 books a month. And I also go into the library, which my library books are due tomorrow. But I also do go in the library. And when I go into the library, I usually get from 3 to 6 books, because I can read that much. But so it's like, I honestly suggest checking out the library and like maybe adapting. Like, if you are someone who's looking to stop buying so many books, I would say look into reading, like getting a library book before you read, or getting an ebook, especially because in the last year I started reading a lot of ebooks. So I just decided to like start reading ebooks before I before I buy it. And then if I finish, and also because I have like a 3.2 Goodreads average, so the likelihood of me really loving a book is not that high. So this way, this saves me a lot of time, and like this way I'm not buying a 3-star book, which I don't mind keeping 3-star books. There are a lot of 3-star books that I own that like I really enjoyed, but they just weren't like favorites. But also like this just saves me that from like buying 3-star books and then like reading that book and being like, damn, or buying a book and being like, damn, I hated that. Because that happened to me. It's actually crazy because I feel like the likelihood of that happening when I was hauling 100 books was not happening. But I remember like, and I didn't care because I was like, I could afford just buying new books and stuff like that. But then when I quit my job and I didn't have one, I remember I had spent one of my last paychecks on a book called A Treat Myself. And a lot of those books I end up hating. And I still am mad about that to this day. Like, I'm like, damn, I could have spent that money on What Fucking Ever or other books. So this is why I really implemented the rule of reading a book before I buy it. And now I pretty much don't. I think the last time I hauled books was in September. And that was that was September. I did haul books for my birthday, and then the last time I did another haul after that was September. And then I'm also lucky enough to get publishers to send me books, which I highly recommend getting into reviewing books, even if it's just a no-face blog. Like, I highly recommend it. Like, book boxes are another thing that is really popular to me. Book boxes kind of always been useless for me personally. Like, I've never been a huge book box person. There was one time when I was like sponsored by like Fairy Loot or something, which ended pretty quickly because like I already have a lot of trinkets. A lot of the stuff is just not usable for me. Like, so I decided like I'm only gonna buy a book boxes for a book that I like. I don't even do that. I think I got like maybe 3 book boxes in my life. I got From Blood and Ash. And also, like I said, I'm a critical reader. So the likelihood of me liking a book, like I can't pre-order a book box just because it's new and it's beautiful and I really want to. I can't do that because the likelihood of me liking the book is not that high. I did that with Deadly Education. Luckily, I read it super early, like right when it came out, and there wasn't a lot of people who like, it wasn't really hyped that much. So I got like 2 book boxes, I think. No, I got 1 book box. No, yeah, I got 2 book boxes because I originally had 4 copies of the book. I had 2 book boxes, and then a UK edition and then a regular edition. But my sister also loved the book, so I gave her the US edition because I just don't like those because they have like a little gold trim around it, and I hated the way it made the book look. So now I only have the UK editions, and that was only the first book. I don't have multiple editions of the second book. I only have 1 edition of the second book, and then I don't own the third book because I didn't love it. I love that series dearly. It still means so much to me, but that last book was ass, you guys. Like, that was fucking terrible. So I don't own it. And to me, it's a duology. But yeah, I don't really own like even my Cruel Prince copies. Luckily, I have friends who know that I love the series, and they sent those copies to me. So I guess that also counts as like a book box. On the Prison Healer, which I also own the second book. I really enjoyed the Prison Healer, but I don't own the third one in a special edition because I haven't read the second one, and I feel like me liking the Prison Healer was like a hoax, and so I'm really scared that like I didn't really love it all that much, even though I had a fun time reading it. And they're like, I feel like I'm scared the second book is gonna be ass. So I never ordered the third book. And do I feel like stupid for that? Yeah, but I also own regular copy of the first book, and then I could just buy the second and third one, and I could just have, I don't know. It's not that serious to me. I don't need to have this whole series in like a special edition because I know myself. Like, I know that the likelihood of me loving these books are not that high. And yeah, even if I did love the series, like From Blood and Ash, I loved it at the time. But there are like not a lot of, and also a lot of them are ugly. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. Like the Cruel Prince ones, y'all know I love the Folk of the Air down. The Folk of the Air ones, a lot of them are fucking ugly. A lot of them are hideous. A lot of them are taking y'all money and giggling and running with it, to be honest. And when I learned how to spray paint books myself, oh, you're definitely not getting money out of me. You're definitely not getting a single dime out of me, actually. There are also people who buy a lot of bookmarks, which I only own whatever's in here. And also, I'm not gonna hold you, these are my favorite bookmarks ever. They're by my friend Lenora over at Bookspolio or My Daisies. I love these bookmarks. I don't use them. I know you're probably like, why do you own some bookmarks that you don't use? But I feel like this makes sense because they're like not expensive. They're not like $20. They're no more than like 10. And so I personally, I use them obviously, but it has to be like, because I lose bookmarks. That's why I'm not just like not using them because like they're just so precious. I don't use them because I lose bookmarks. So it has to be a book. Like it has to be like a book that I'm rereading, something that I love, something that I know I'm gonna like, I'm reading physically, like only physically, not ebook on the side. Now like I'm very particular with these bookmarks. These ones too, these ones as well, these were created by Jimlin Creations. I love her. She doesn't really do bookmarks anymore, but she does do fan art for books. There are some of these that I have lost. There's some of these that I have lost because I lose bookmarks. So for the most part, when I'm using bookmarks, I'm using these book depository ones, but book depository, they don't exist anymore. So luckily a lot of other companies will send you bookmarks, like Better World Books. And then I have like these little pin up, like I have a lot of like the magnet ones. And yeah, there are a lot of bookmarks that I have lost, to be honest. So I know me personally, that's why I don't buy a lot of bookmarks. Like, or I used to make bookmarks when I was in high school. I also see why people would have a bunch, because they're supporting small like artists. Like I love supporting my friends, and especially if I love your bookmarks, bitch, oh yeah, you're getting my support down. So it's like I don't judge that. Like I don't know, I don't see people not using their fucking book. Well, I don't see people not using their bookmarks. Even these bookmarks that I said I don't use often, I'm not saying they don't get used. I'm just saying I'm very particular with how I use them, because I know that I lose bookmarks, because I know myself. I just think my issue with underconsumption, which is crazy because how do you have an issue with consumption, is that it feels like Marie Kondo repackaged. It feels like minimalism repackaged. And if you don't know anything about me, know that I hate minimalism. It is my mortal enemy. It is my arch nemesis. Okay, me and minimalism do not get along, as we can see. There's not a single thing that's minimalist about me, actually. And I do understand it. Like I get why people are minimalist, but at the same time, I just don't like it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my gosh, ew, you don't have anything, you're a minimalist, you don't like owning things. But I'm also just like, I'm more so just the kind of person that's like, how? Like I know that I've seen people like they like their home to look like an IKEA catalog, like nothing around. And I'm like, this is so crazy to me, because I know I want my future home to look like I live there. I want to have things to pass down to people. I have a collection. I have different types of collection. I have a crystal collection, a mug collection, a book collection, physical media collection, or a DVD collection, TV show collection. Physical media I love to collect, like a DVD player. And I want to pass these things down to my kids, my grandkids. My dad introduced me to physical media, or at least DVDs. And my grandpa introduced me to DVDs as well. My grandpa used to collect like comic books and DVDs and things like that. He used to have like a little book collection. So like my grandparents introduced me to the wonders and joys of having things physically. And I want to pass that down to my children. And I also want to have these passed down. Like I want my DVDs to be passed down. I remember seeing there's a debate that's going on right now on TikTok because of like because of Wicked that just came out. So because of that, I don't know if y'all remember that conspiracy theory where they said there was a munchkin that, you know, himself, and you can see it in the background. There's a debate going on right now if that's true or not, and people are like, well, I saw the original, and so I like, my mom has the original DVD and it's in the DVD. Personally, I really don't care. Not times I don't care. I don't really know, whatever. If the video showed a bird, then it's a bird, because that's what I saw, until you get on this and show me the DVD. But anyways, the point of this conversation is that the fact that that movie, The Wizard of Oz, is old as fuck. So the fact that people still own DVDs of that, I love it. And the fact that you're able to go back and have evidence, rather they showed the evidence or not, the fact that you were able to, like, if she did actually, and like that's what I want my future kids to have. Like if somebody's having a debate, they're like, my mom or my grandma owned the original DVD, and then like they fucking pull out Clueless and they're like, this is what happened in Clueless, because they are doing that with media. I'm not just making this shit up and being like, oh, one day. They are doing this with media. They are like erasing things. And I mean, they're like, if you don't own something physically, you do not own it. Like a lot of the ebooks, I saw a video of a guy saying that Amazon banned him and like banned this guy and like took away all of his ebooks. If you do not own something physically, you do not own it. So I know I probably sound like crazy being like, oh, this could happen. Like y'all probably like, it couldn't. It could. Thank you. But yeah, I just don't get minimalism. I like to collect things. I want to pass things down to my family. I want to leave my mark on this world. I'm just a normal everyday person. Like, I'm not gonna have a legacy, I don't believe. But still, like, I want people in my family, like, I love being able to go through my great grandma's Bible. And I want that to be happening for me, but I want people to know me a lot more. Like, I want to have a lot more that they can go through. I want them to be able to, I don't know. I just think knowing the history of your family and your ancestors are fun, and I want to pass that down. But also, I just love owning things. I love having things. I love a gadget. They make me happy. I love that I have a bunch of different hobbies. I love that I have a bunch of different, like, things to do throughout the day. And I personally, and also, like, I love a kitchen. Like, I love, like, an old school kitchen where it's like the toaster is on the counter, and there's a like a coffee maker on the counter, and there's, like, you know, the sugar and all this. Like, I like all of that to be there. Like, I personally just don't vibe with minimalism. But if that's your cup of tea, that's your cup of tea. I'm not about to sit here and be like, oh my gosh, you're a minimalist, that's so lame, like, you should whatever. I don't give a fuck. And obviously, clearly, my issue of wanting things stem from my childhood, and also people's minimalism might stem from their childhood. Like, I know mine, which is I didn't have a lot of things in my room, and not because, like, I couldn't ask or anything like that, because I just didn't know that you could, like, personalize your own things. I just didn't know that you could just have things in your room, because my mom still to this day is not that kind of person, which is so crazy to me. Anyways, to conclude, yes, overconsumption is bad. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not acknowledging that it's bad. We all know that it's bad. Consumerism and capitalism is bad. I do think that the book underconsumption core isn't as black or white as people try to make it out to be. Like, people think that just because you own a lot of books that you are automatically rich and you're giving into consumerism. But books are art, and, like, every single piece of book, and, like, it's not one whole form of art. Every single book is different. Even when you own multiple copies of the same book, it still can be different. Even if it's not a book box, even if you just own a hardcover and a paperback, those are still two different things. And also, you're supporting the author. Like, there you go. Everyone gives into capitalism or consumerism one way or another. Or maybe you don't. I don't know your life. But yeah, I'm just going to end this video because my camera has overheated 3 different times. And this is what I get for trying to film serious videos on a vlogging camera that overheats after 15 minutes. But I'm very terrified it's going to overheat again. And I'm actually tired of filming this video now. So this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this video. Damn, if I could stop saying So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Say hello to Steve, and I'll see you guys in the next video.